Hello, everyone. It is your boy Slayer here, and I just want to say, sorry if I sound a little like I do in every single fucking video. I'm a little sick. I have like my nose is like a little clogged, so I feel a little like but it's probably allergies. It is what it is. But I want to talk to you guys about you don't always have to love your family, and it's something that isn't talked about a lot because I feel like a lot of people push this idea that you always have to love your family no matter what, and I feel like that's not the case. I understand that we all have to, love our family. It's just like a relationship. For example, me and my current amazing, wonderful wife that I have, we do have our problems here and there. Like we are really good at communicating, and that's something that's really important in relationships is communication, and just like in a relationship, you never will be on the same page all the time, and sometimes you guys will fight. Sometimes you will have a problem with somebody even though you love them, but at the end of the day, me and my wife keep reminding ourselves why we started this relationship in the first place, you know, and it's something that's really important to do. In a relationship, you always have to remind yourself, this is why I did this. And even though you have your flaws, I will love your flaws because I love you. And that's something that's really important. you know these flaws that we see in each other, it's not gonna make me not love you because we all knew what we were gonna get into. And I'm a type of person where I feel like you shouldn't date if you don't want to marry. I feel like that's pointless. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys what to do with your life and your personal relationship life. I mean, if you guys want to go out and date just to date, go ahead. I mean, I, I'm just a random guy on the internet, so you do you. But I'm here to say my opinion on the matter. And I will say, I feel like dating to marry is the right way. You know, now, of course, people are young, and people want to just go out and try things and everything, and I respect that. If you want to go out, experiment, I guess, and go ahead and do that. But I feel like, if you don't have the idea that this is going to be your forever person when you go into a relationship, I don't see the point of it. I feel like if you don't have that mentality, just don't date. Just go around and be with people, experiment, and that's it. I feel like going into a relationship is about knowing that this is the person you want to be with and accepting that. And you two are willing to work together to create that bond. And that's what me and my current wife both talked about, where we both agreed that this is what we want, that we will fight for each other no matter what. And hope she knows that as well, that I love her no matter what, that I will always fight for her and everything. And she's like generally one of the she's generally like one of the best people I've ever met. But sorry, I'm losing plot. I got distracted by her. But anyway, I will say that at the end of the day, I feel like dating to marry is really important. Or not even to marry, it's just dating to stay in a relationship, because I never understand the point of cheating. And I feel like cheating is stupid. I generally don't understand why people cheat. It's like you go into a relationship, you guys are going to date, and you love this person, quote unquote. But instead of being like, I'm not happy in the relationship, or being like, hey, this isn't for me, you just go out behind somebody's back and then get emotional that you hurt somebody. That doesn't make sense to me. Like, you cheated. It's your fault. Why the fuck are you getting emotional? Like, shit makes no sense. But anyway, back to the main point. So yeah, it's like that with when it comes to family. Just even though you have flaws, I will still love you. And a lot of things can be applied to that. But the other side is the extreme. I never really had a strong relationship with my parents, and it sort of hurt me a lot. There's a lot of things that I didn't learn because of it. There's a lot of there's a lot of experiences that I missed out on because I didn't have that connection with my parents that a lot of people do. And there's a lot of things I had to learn on my own because I didn't have that connection at all. And in this world, people don't see that. You just have to fight and learn for yourself and face the consequences of trial and error. And that's just what life is, trial and error. You have to keep trying over and over again so you can learn. It's exactly like I said in my old video. As long as you learn from your mistakes, that's all that matters. It's okay to make mistakes, just learn from it. That's something that's really, really important. Now, like I was saying with the family thing, it's you got to realize that it's okay to hate your family and it's okay to detach from them. Sometimes there's people in your family that just don't love you for you, and that's something that I despise a lot, where family just likes to talk behind your back, and instead of saying it to you and communicating to you, they just go around and gossip. And I feel like that's very toxic. I feel like that's not right. I feel like family should be everyone, coming together, connecting with each other, and actually loving each other and building upon each other, like a family should. Not this, comparison, this toxicity, this belittling. I swear I said that word right. Anyway, but yeah, I feel like if you have a very toxic family, and you feel like you want to separate yourself from them, it's okay to do that. It's good to detach from an environment that you're not happy in. Now, I'm not saying you should go to the extreme like I did and leave your entire family. That's kind of crazy. If that's the path that you want to take, then you do you. Sometimes the path that other people don't see fit might fit you, because we are all different at the end of the day. Now, if you do that, of course, there's the consequences of, okay, you have to do things now on your own time, because a lot of people have this mentality of like they can rely on their family, like, oh, I have my family as like a backup. Like if anything goes bad, I can go to my family as a backup. And thankfully, I did have a lot of family members who I did have that opportunity for. Last year when I had my homeless problem and I was, struggling in New York for 3 months, thankfully, a friend took me in and everything. And then I went to Florida with some family. And then after that, I got taken in by a close friend of mine. And I was able to build upon myself. And now I'm back on my feet. And I'm really lucky for that. And a lot of people didn't have that opportunity like I did, where I had some family members where I can rely on, where I can go back to. And you guys may be wondering, oh, but you're preaching this idea of, oh, you shouldn't love your family and you should detach from them, but you seem like you had some families to love. And yeah, I mean, family, depends on you, but family is big. A lot of people have big family, especially since I'm Hispanic. I have a very, very big family. I have like 10 to 12 different cousins. It's crazy. But like I said, it's okay to detach from some family members. And if you feel like you're not happy and this is a toxic environment for you and nothing is working, then just leave. It's not good to stay in an environment that you're not happy in. That's why I got Juice WRLD's Abyss tattoo tatted on me, because the idea of staying in this abyss that's keeping you unhappy and feeding nothing but toxic mentality to you is horrible. We all should get out of that environment so that we can all grow and improve. And if you live in an environment like that, I pray and hope that you get out of it. And especially in this economy, it's so hard to do that. Like moving out of your parents, because that's what a lot of people really attach to, is not being able to move away from your parents' house because of this economy, because a lot of people struggle in the home of their family because they feel like they're being belittled. You know, they feel like they're not accepted. Their family is like crushing them, and there's a lot of, you know, bad things happening that I won't get into, but, you know, more on the extreme side, and they want to get out. But sadly, there's a lot of people that can't do that because of this current economy, and, you know, it's hard to do so. And to those people, I hope that you get out of that situation. It's really important to know that no matter what, all that's important is you, because at the end of the day, it's your life, you know, and you should really focus on yourself. And I feel like I keep saying this in my last video as well, where at the end of the day, it's your life, and you shouldn't let somebody else tell you how your life goes. Well, you know, it's always good to listen to advice, you know, because that's how I learned. I learned more from listening to older people that aren't part of my family than my actual family. And because I ventured out and got out of my comfort zone, I was able to grow more as an individual. And I will thank somebody named Goki, because Goki, that man was like the father figure I never had. You know, I learned more from him than I learned from anybody. And you need to realize that you can listen to other people. You know, a lot of people just are so stuck in what they want to say that they don't listen to what people say. And I had to learn that the hard way, because Goki Goki would, you know, lecture me on, yeah, man, you're not listening. And I'm like, yes, I am. And then in reality, I wasn't. And I'm happy that I grew and I learned that. And that's like a big example, you know, family doesn't always have to come from your blood. You know, I consider Goki part of my family, and I consider my wife as part of my family. I considered a lot of friends of mine part of my family. My friends, I'm so happy to have such a strong friend group where I don't have to rely on my family. I was able to leave and have people that are like my family, who actually act like my family. And it's important to know that you don't have to go to your family for everything if it's a bad area to go to. You know, you can create your own family. We all want to break that family habit that we all see within our family. You know, either it's, oh, they're talking behind people's backs and never want to say to the people's faces, or all they do is, you know, alcoholics, and they just a toxic environment, and you want to break that heritage, and you want to be different, and you want to actually be the kid who branches out and breaks that heritage and be someone different. That's what I'm doing. You know, I'm focusing on me alone, and building my own life that I want it to be, you know. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be very, very tough. And you have to remember that life is always going to be tough, but you can't let it stop you. You can't let these obstacles stop you from being the person you want to be. Because once you get through these obstacles and you look back on your journey and you see where you are now, you're going to realize that it was worth it. Because you're exactly where you want to be. Happy and free. I appreciate you guys. I really like to start making scripts of these videos, because I feel like I keep repeating the same thing over and over again. I need to start really making scripts. Like, I'm just hopping on here and just winging it. But I need to start making more scripts. But yeah. Always remember, you don't always have to love your family. Always focus on yourself. Love yourself. And remember, be yourself. Don't let anyone tell you what you can or cannot be, because at the end of the day, it's your life. And yeah, you know, and remember, self-love yields respect. Always. Appreciate you guys, and have a good one.